Mm-hmm. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello. I just
Hello.
sent a text to.
Can you hear me?
I can. Oh, and it sounds good. You're right on target.
Thank you. I know. I'm getting better, huh?
But my
getting
audio,
better every day.
Yeah, my audio or my video may not be good. Can you hear me okay? Here we go again. Okay, hang on. I'm switching over to my hotspot. I'm going to reboot. Stay there for just a second, kiddo. If I lose you, call, get back on. Okay, well, that's not good. That's bad too. Let's see, 1, 2, let's see where I am. Road. Let me test this. No, I don't hear it. Huh.
I can hear you. It says your bandwidth is low.
I still don't hear it. Lee, do you hear me?
Yes.
I don't hear you, so something's went
You
weird.
can't hear me?
Something went bonkers.
It says your bandwidth is low.
I still don't hear you. 1, 2. Still nothing.
You want me to switch to a different place?
So aggravating, you know, when this MacBook Pro. See if I go here. So maybe. Nope, don't end. Test 1, 2. Oh, I see what happened. This went down. Lee, try talking to me now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but hang with me 1 second because I switched over. Okay, try talking to me now.
Can you hear me now?
Still can't. Oh, I see what happened. This is down. Okay, nope, it won't do it. Something's wrong.
Let me try this.
Ah, that did it.
You got me?
Unplug and plug in again. Hold on, got you there. Let's do this. Here comes Greg. Let's see.
Hi, Greg.
Where's Randy? The Fed is not raising rates. So that's a good thing.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, for now. They're setting the stage. They're basically saying, hey, we're going to do it. Get ready. It's coming. Okay, Randy. Let you go to voicemail.
Watch battery fixed.
I've got a closing going on right now over at Limestone at your office.
All right. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Well, yeah, but he's not answering his phone. I can't believe he's not answering his phone.
Did he reply back to the email?
No.
The text? Oh.
No, it's going to be all attorney. I'm blowing his phone.
Probably down at the lake. Or where,
yeah, wherever he is
or...
now. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Greg, are you there? Greg was in his car.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have audio issues because
your thing.
My internet's still out.
Federal Reserve, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the Fed's keeping the rates the same.
Yep, I know. Randy, we're waiting for you. Where are you?
Randy.
Dude, it's not like I don't give enough warning, It's kind of like,
Yeah.
yep. Hey, Sarah, am I going over to Limestone to pick up the check after we're done? It's a mail away for our side, so.
Oh, cool.
Come on. I wanted him on this for the Federal Reserve shit. Ugh. I'm beginning to worry that something happened to him.
I don't think blowing his phone up.
I'm blowing it. I'm blowing it.
It doesn't help anybody.
Well, it does. It helps me.
It helps you what? Do your normal, you gotta let somebody know even though you know they know.
Do I know they know? He never acknowledged response.
I don't know.
I'll try. Well, I talked to him earlier today, and I told him. Oh, that would be shit. All right, I'm going to give it another minute, Lee, and then we're going to go on without him.
Okay. Sure.
Went right to his voicemail.
Greg, do you have his office number?
I have his office. I tried calling it. Went right to that voice.
Okay.
One more time to work. Oh, you know what? It's not him. He texted me. That's right. Fuck. His guy was supposed to.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Maybe he's at the office.
No, he never. I don't think he's going to join us.
Is it that?
One of his guys.
Yeah.
Steve Phillips. Steve, we're waiting for you. Do you not have the link? All right, stand by. I'm going to send it to you. We'll go from there. Stand by. I'll send it right to you. Bye.
Greg, you're looking like you're going hiking or something.
Yeah, I'm growing out the beard for a little bit.
Yeah, a little winter coat. My husband does.
Yeah, exactly. As long as I can get away with it, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull it off too much longer.
I think it looks good.
You tell Casey that she's not a big fan, but we'll get away with it.
Does it itch?
No, well, that was her biggest issue. Is I needed to start using conditioner because it was brittle. But what I learned is that
I'm just not going there.
Don't generally deal with hair, but like when you wash it, it gets you don't replace the oils, it gets dry and brittle. So
yeah, Bob, don't go there. That's your son.
Thank you.
I've never grown a beard this glorious. Just mustache. He's only had a mustache. He doesn't know what it's like.
My brother has one, and he constantly, it's just a bad habit. He constantly pulls at it like this the whole time you're talking to him. You just want to smack his hand down. Stop pulling on it.
Air Superman's phone. He's there. He's under Superman. Are you kidding me?
We can give him some shit for that.
Where is?
I got a text from or an email from someone the other day, and she forgot that she named her husband Hot Hubby.
Oh no!
So I said, she said, "Yeah, I'm going to CC my husband on here." I said, "Is he Hot Hubby?" And she was so embarrassed.
Hey, Steve, you there? Oh, Steve, unmute yourself. Turn the video on. Let's get rolling. can't hear you. We're on a time schedule.
We got to hear you and see you, Steve.
Come on, Steve.
Sorry, Steve.
Okay, working on the audio and now coming in on
Superman's
phone.
Superman.
Hey, all right. So keep that close to you so we can hear you, because otherwise the audio sucks. What phone number should we give out, Steve?
You can use Randy's. Randy's is fine.
Okay. All right. So we're going with the 645. All right. Did you watch the Fed announcement just now?
No, I have not. I have not seen it.
Okay, so you're obviously right on top of it, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll handle it. Don't sweat it. All right. I was blowing up Randy's phone, so he's gonna probably go, where the fuck? Hang on. Greg, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. Are we staying on that phone? You're on yours, Greg? So it's only Lee and I with the good audio today. All right. Here we go. Stand by. News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler here with the Louisville Real Estate Show, with you till the top of the hour. And we've got a packed show with a lot of information. As we say on a regular basis, strap in, buckle up. Here we go. In for Randy Rocky, we start with Steve Phillips, who's over at Swan Financials. Steve's done the job, does a great job with us, done it for years. And you can reach Steve through Randy at 645-0736. Also here, Lee Harris, legal counsel, Limestone, title, and escrow. And you can reach Lee at 649-7964. My son, Greg, who does our marketing, photography, and so much more, is joining us. And you can reach me, Bob Sokoler, anytime, day or night, 376-5483. All right. Welcome to all of you, gents and ladies. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Starting off the very top, we have probably the most important thing. That is the Federal Reserve laid groundwork for interest rate hikes this past Wednesday. At the conclusion of its two-day meeting this week, the central bank said it will aggressively unwind last year's bond buying after a variety of inflation reports reached their highest levels in decades. So, Steve, that basically just means interest rates are going to go up, but not right now. Not at that's short-term interest rates, not mortgage rates, right?
Yeah, so the market's been expecting this already. So a lot of this stuff has been built into the rate hikes that we've already seen and have already experienced. So the market's prepared. They knew it was coming, and they've kind of got ahead of it as much as they can.
So in other words, no big deal. So interest rates will stay near zero for now. Fed's officials are staging what will become multiple hikes in short-term rates as soon as March, is what we're hearing. So other news, rental demand surged in 2021, partly because many higher income households turned to renting after unsuccessful searches for the for sale market homes. Last year, home buyers viewed an average of, believe it or not, 8 homes before purchasing. That's the lowest number on record. Typically, you're looking, I would say, what, Greg? You think it's maybe 12 to 16 homes in past years before?
What's normal now? We're in year 3 of this mania. So, sure, but does it matter what it used to be? No,
but there's so few homes, so we go up with a buyer right now.
The inventory is terrible. That's all.
Yeah, the inventory is now down below 1,200. Normally, we've got 25 to 3,000 homes in the Louisville area alone. So you go out with a buyer, and if you see the home you're looking for and you want to wait and look at others, it may be gone by the time you circle back. So that's the problem.
I had this conversation with one of your clients actually the other day. He's inventory, but once interest rates start to go up, I said, what is it going to matter? He said, well, if they go back up into the 4s. I said, listen, 4 years ago when I was buying one of my first houses, or my second house rather, I was at 4.25.
Yeah, I
would do it again, but right now I'm at a 2.52. So it's like, but you're still going to have an inventory problem no matter where you go.
Steve, where are we right now on interest rates? About 3.5. Is that what I know? Give your MLS number so you can stay legal.
Yeah. So the average conventional on 30 years is going to be 3.68, which is the highest we've had for the last 2 years, pretty much. And so we do know we are expecting still more coming, as you said. It's just going to be tapered. We are knowing it's coming.
A couple of things. Try, because you're using your Apple EarPods. try taking those off, turning off Bluetooth and getting close to your phone because the audio is a little muffled. We want to make sure that works out real well. If you want to see this show again, and then we do this on a regular basis, we're doing our Zoom shows, which means we're doing our shows on Zoom. And when we feed it up to YouTube, you can go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That is LouisvilleAnswers.com. And that will hopefully give you a rebroadcast, see what we're doing. All right, Steve, let's start with you in terms of questions. What we're doing with the Zoom, we ask you email us, send us an email, bob@WeSellLouisville.com, put in the subject line radio question, and then the question in the body of the email. Pretty simple. Michael did that. He said he saw a news report this week that the federal government's going to raise short-term interest rates, or at least down the road. He says, how will that impact long-term mortgage rates and his ability to buy down the rest of 2022? How quickly will we see something change on that, Steve?
Well, I mean, for the most part, this whole year, we're going to continue to see increased rates going up throughout the year, and probably even into 2023, especially with the inflation. Until they get the inflation tamed down, we're definitely going to be seeing these things happening. At this stage, how fast is it going to be? As you'd mentioned just a bit ago, we know March they're going to start doing the tapering of the bond program. So the market has already accounted for that, but it doesn't mean, there's a lot going on over in Europe with Ukraine and Russia. So, all that's impacting everything in place of the market as well. But it could go faster, it could go slower, but it's coming.
And Michael, what I would tell you is experts are saying around the world, well, more around the country, that we'll probably see 4 to 4.5 interest rate for mortgages this year, by the end of this year. But we'll see what happens. Okay, Lee, you're up. Here we go. Jennifer sent us an email saying we're selling our house. It's only been 2 years since she bought the house. She says we moved into a brand new house when she bought it in February of 2020. You got that so far? Because this is actually a very interesting question. So they buy a brand new house. Okay. They move into the house in February 2020. The builders listed the home on the multiple listing service when they were building it in 2019, which is, as you would expect, a very common thing for builders to do to start attracting interest. Okay, so far so good.
Sure.
So she's selling the house now. She starts looking at the PVA, and on PVA, it says the house was built in 2019. But for records in disclosing what year the home was built, she's only been living in it since February of 2020. So the question is, what does she put down? How old is the house? What does her agent put down? Did she move in 2020, and so the home is only 2 years old as of right now? Or is it what PVA says, 2019? This is actually a really fascinating question because it will affect anybody who has just bought a new home in the past couple of years, including you, Greg, and or those who are going to sell in the next couple of years. Lee, your thoughts?
I guess what's the debate? Because I would say my house is the age of when it was completed by the builder.
Or when you moved in. See, that's the discrepancy. Not how old my
house is. Like,
hold
the
on.
Roof was when my builder finished the roof, and that's how old the roof is. It's not if I moved in 7 months, 8 months later. Yeah, it's not because I moved in. It's I didn't change the age.
So technically, the question becomes, when does this clock start on a new construction home, Lee? Is it when the person moves in, or when the home was starting to be built?
I'd say it's when the certificate of occupancy is issued, so that therefore it can be lived in. So if that was, she's talking about February of 2020, that's not far into 2020. If that was issued, say, in December of 2019, then you're only talking about 2 months. If it was issued in January of 2019, you may be talking about a year plus a month. But I'd say that it's when the COO is issued, because up until then, nobody can live there. So it's not a livable home.
Right. That's great, and but that refutes what Greg just said, Greg. So that it doesn't.
I didn't. No, my point was, in theory, if you're saying the home is this old, well, the time span of when a builder is going to get a CO, they want to get the CO as soon as possible so that they can get occupancy, obviously, because they got to pay interest on their bank note, right? So doesn't make a difference. I think you're looking at a small window, but for your client, the question would be, okay, when did you come into the process? Did it take 7 months? Did you pick finishes? Were there things that you couldn't move in because you couldn't get the CO? Because chances are, like I said, that time span's minimal. The builder is going to get that CO as soon as possible. And if that starts the clock, well, then the builder doesn't want that home sitting on the market. It doesn't make a difference when the homeowner comes in. It's
Lee.
Yeah, go ahead, Lee. Go ahead. I was just going to say, and I would just, clarify if she wants to, because if somebody looked up the PVA, they say, "Whoa, you're lying. It was built in 2019, and you're telling me it was built in 2020." She could just notify. She could just make a note on her disclosure or wherever she's disclosing this information that, we moved in February of 2020. We don't have a lot of information before then, but we're giving you our disclosures from the time we moved in beforehand. But obviously, since it was a new build, obviously it was started in the year prior to that.
And real quickly to wrap this up. So is there a place that a homeowner can go online right now to see when a certificate of occupancy was actually issued by the county of their home?
If it's not online, if it's not online, then they can call Planning and Design, who is actually very helpful, and somebody will answer the phone, and they give them the address. They will look it up for them.
Interesting. All right, there you go, folks. So in this case, really, Jennifer, it's possible you can answer it by saying it was 2020, but I think you may want to do a little more detail investigating as to when the certificate of occupancy was actually issued. So that's interestingly, very interesting. Okay, back over to you, Steve. Laura sent us this question. She's trying to find her first home, but has lost out to other buyers because, can you guess? According to her agent, the loan is FHA. That her loan is FHA. So she wants to know, Laura's saying, so what is wrong with an FHA loan, and what can she do to change to another type of loan? Steve?
Sure. So FHA is focused primarily a little bit more than conventional on the safety and welfare of the buyer. So there are certain things that the FHA appraiser is going to require to be completed that will add extra reports to their appraisal. So those things will include cracked windows and well, peeling paint. There's various things. I don't need to get into individuals.
No, but peeling paint is a big one. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah. Slow gutter, drains, gutters clogged, things like that. Yeah, keep going. Okay.
Yeah. So because of that, there is a higher expectation of the property being in a state of standards for FHA that isn't there for conventional. So a lot of times the appraisers will get tripped up on things that FHA is going to require that the conventional side doesn't. That's one thing. Other than that, I do believe that there's a little bit more seller fees on FHA than conventional as well. Not much, but I think there's a little bit more extra cost.
So the second part of her question is, so you identify the FHA, why sellers may be looking negatively at FHA loans. So how can she switch? What can she do as a buyer to move from an FHA loan to a conventional loan?
Okay, so conventional loans are certainly much more credit score driven. So you got to focus on trying to get your credit score as high as possible. The higher you can get it, the better. 720 and above is really what conventional loans prefer. They go down to 640. So there's certainly some room, to go and still get into a conventional market. But with the lower scores, you are going to find that you're going to get higher interest rates, probably higher mortgage insurance rates, maybe possibly even higher down payment requirements, depending upon the program. So all of that's going to just be more expensive to you as a buyer with a lower score trying to get into conventional. That's why FHA fits those lower credit score borrowers a little better. And unfortunately, what she is saying is correct. It is happening. I think it's getting a little better, but I've definitely been experiencing the pain of trying to get an FHA borrower into a conventional sales environment.
Especially with as limited inventory that we have right now, which, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's in the 11 or low 1,200 homes on the market in Louisville alone. And typically we're seeing 25 to 3,000 around this time. So, all right. Good there. Hopefully we answer that question. We're back over to Lee. Greg, feel free to jump in on this. Nicole sent us an email and she is worried. She bought a house and the listing agent used a handyman to repair a plumbing issue. The part the handyman fixed is now leaking. At the time her buyer agent objected to the listing agent, requiring that a handyman not be the person repairing not be a handyman but a plumber, but the listing agent insisted that was the only way the seller was going to make repairs. So Lee, what recourse does she have? Greg, what would you say if you were following that? What would you say to your buyer if the selling agent insisted on a handyman instead of an actual licensed plumber to repair a leak? Let's see what Greg says on that. Yeah, yeah.
I would say somebody's doing some illicits, because what seller agent or list agent has ever demanded in our line of work that a handyman must do a job? First off, that agent must not know much about liability, or they've not been around long enough to have liability happen to them. So I would check the date on their license first, see how new they are.
Okay. It's funny that you say that. She wrote the name of this agent, which I'm not going to reveal, and because we're not allowed to reveal something like that on the air. I'll tell you about it later. But Lee, what would you say on this?
Well, I'd say that starting back at the time when they were asking for the repair request, they the buyer agent should always put, licensed plumber or licensed electrician or licensed HVAC person or whatever, in order to bind the seller to that. If they did not do so, but the repair is not done properly, if the seller agreed to do the repair in a workmanlike manner, which is what the contract says, and hasn't been done in a workmanlike manner, or it isn't working soon after closing because the part was not correct or the handyman didn't know what he or she was doing, then the seller is still responsible for that. The seller has already agreed that they would put this particular item in working order. And if it wasn't done so because they tried to do it on the cheap or by someone who wasn't, specialized in that area, then if it's up to $2,500, then they would go to small claims court. Anything above $2,500, they could go to mediation under their contract. And neither one of those is an expensive route to try to resolve an issue. And naturally, I would say before you go anywhere and spend any money, send them an estimate of, send the seller's agent an estimate of what it's going to cost and ask them to forward it to the seller and say, hey, we'd like to get this paid for, because it's not working.
And then if they don't do it, then take them to small claims court. Got it.
Right.
We're going to take a break. First, let me just remind you, we now have 5 ways to help you sell your home. And they're just about these ways, guaranteed to help you find the home without having to physically move out of your home. We've got some really good ideas here. Go to LouisvilleBob.com. That's right. You heard it. LouisvilleBob.com. And it will take you to our information page. When we come back, a variety of things on the plate, many more questions that are coming in via email, plus 12 emergency supplies you should always keep in your car. Important information, especially as cold as it was this past week. We are blessed to have Lee Harris, legal counsel, Limestone Title and Escrow at 649-7964. Steve Phillips, who's in for the vacationing Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial at 645-0736. My son Greg, who does our marketing, photography, and so much more. And you can reach me anytime to help you buying or selling. 376-5483. We are back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. Hey, Steve, just so you know, much better without the headsets. I got a feeling your headset is clogged. The microphone end is clogged. You might want to check into that. Just so you know.
Yeah, these dang things are brand new, too.
Sounds a lot better, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, if they're brand new, return them.
Real close to the
I don't know where I don't know. Yeah, no problem. Wherever you bought them, return them. All right.
Yeah, yes, I will.
True. Yeah. Here we go. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show, with you here till the top of the hour. And joining us, Lee Harris, legal counsel, Limestone Title and Escrow. I had a great closing over at Limestone this past week, and you got to love the cookies. You can reach Lee at 649-7964. Also in for the vacationing Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial, one of his great loan officers, Steve Phillips, who you can reach at 645-0736 through Randy. You can reach me, Bob Sokoler, anytime at 376-5483. And if you reach out to me, you get my son, Greg, who does our marketing and photography as well. And he just kicks it up another level and another notch with what he does. So I love him and I appreciate him so much, my son, and proud of him. Thank you, Barbara Corcoran, for your endorsement. You may have seen the new commercial that Greg and I shot with Barbara a month and a half or two ago. We enjoyed being with her for the afternoon. And a reminder, you want to see what our reviews are like? We've got a lot of reviews. Go to LouisvilleZillow.com. And you could also go to LouisvilleGoogle.com. So those two locations. All right. So there are some really important things. It was really cold. I mean, it felt like a -7 with the wind chill factor, or even more this past week. I think it was Wednesday. But there are some things you should carry with you. I'm going through these quick. So I think you really want to jot these down, or also email me and I'll send them out to you. You want to have a pet-friendly de-icer. That means if you're faced with a slippery sidewalk where ice is melted and refrozen, you can really trip and hurt yourself. So use like a kitty litter. That might help you. In fact, that's one of the things besides a pet-friendly de-icer, a kitty litter. Also windshield de-icer. And something that you want to spray in your key lock to keep the key lock from becoming unfrozen. Also a snow brush. There's another thing that just came out. I'm fascinated by this. A mitten that has a snow scraper built into it. I don't know if you saw it. It's available on Amazon. Yeah, it scrapes your windshield, keeps your hand warm at the same time. You might want to consider a windshield cover if you keep your car outside parked overnight. A traction mat. Again, you can get these at a local auto store or online, Amazon or any of the like. The traction mat, if you get stuck in a small hole because of snow or ice, you put the mat down and the tires grip on and pull you out. Hot hands, you've seen that. You break it and then put it in your hand. It keeps them warm. Non-slip boots is a good thing to have in your car. Heated blanket, just in case, that plugs into, mind you, into your hopefully we all still have those plug-in cigarette lighter adapters in your car. Emergency flashlight, and then protein bars. Just keep a bunch in the glove box. So if by chance, remember the couple of months ago or weeks ago, there were folks stuck on the highway for, I don't know how many hours, 24 hours. Yeah, Virginia. So it might be worth it to think about at that point having some protein bars, and maybe.
And if you get all of this stuff and you don't get stuck, you could just go drive and find a mountain to go ski or snowboard, because you just recommended all of the things you need for a great day on the mountain.
There you go. All right.
So the dual purpose.
Back to our questions. Nicole sent us an email and she's very worried. Actually, I already told you that one. Michelle writes in, she's selling her house, but had an unusual thing happen. All of a sudden, some company dropped off an outdoor shed on her driveway.
Okay.
But she wasn't home at the time. In fact, she's living out of town, but a neighbor told her about it. She says there's no invoice attached to this large pallet which has this outdoor shed that can be built out of it on her driveway. What can she do with it? Does she now own it? How can she handle it or get rid of it?
My first gut feeling is that they dropped it at the wrong house, because if she didn't order it, somebody's probably looking for it. But sometimes those sheds are not actually owned by the owner. Oh. They're actually rented. Yeah. And if they're not put on an actual base foundation that's permanent. So if I were Michelle, I would look on there. I'm sure there's a company name on there of who dropped it off.
She actually wrote in and said they looked, the neighbors, and there was nothing.
Really?
So
that's very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Someone's missing a shed.
Yes, somebody's missing a shed is my guess, Michelle. I doubt you own it. If it stays there for the next year, then I'd say you can claim it by, abandonment. But probably someone will come knocking at your door pretty soon and say, "Hey, that looks like my shed out there."
But here's the catch, Lee. Michelle is selling the home, and she's moved out of town. So, and the neighbors are the ones who alerted her to this. So when she closes on this home, there cannot be a shed. The buyers are not going to take that responsibility. So legally, there's a real problem there.
Well, if at the very least, she needs to say, "I'm not sure who owns this shed, so it's probably not going to stay here," because they might expect to get a shed out of the deal. Yeah. But yeah, that's very interesting. I've never heard of a shed that doesn't have like a little, metal plate on it that says, owned by such and so sheds or something.
We love questions that we've had some real good ones. So
yeah, very interesting.
Yeah,
today
that's
we can stump Lee, and there you did. All right, so Greg, I'm going to bring you in on this one because I think from your standpoint, and again, Steve, this is really meant from the mortgage side, but I want Greg to answer this as well. Grant sent us an email. He's shopping for a mortgage for a new home, and he's wondering, aren't all mortgage companies the same? Don't they all have the same rates because they get the money from the same place? So, Steve, we're going to go to you for a second, but first, let's go to Greg, because Greg, as a buyer's agent, and I just think he already.
You want my existential answer? Or
no,
all humans the same?
No, I want a quick.
Is all customer service the same? Do you like to buy from Amazon, Best Buy, or do you like a local guy who's going to pick up your phone every time you have a problem with customer service or whatever the case may be? Me, someone who comes from customer service, I've always said, especially when you're dealing with big money things, you need the phone to be able to pick up somebody that you trust. All banks are not the same. All small banks are not the same. All lenders are not the same. All people are not the same. So you need to do your.
Good. I like that answer. Steve, to you, anything that you want to add to that question for Grant?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of has that mentality that, we're all getting the money from the same place. And Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac is a large part of that reasoning. But there are other avenues of money and funds. And we, as a broker at Swan Financial, we have the ability to look around and make sure that out of, 27, 28 lenders, that we are getting the best deal. So it's not just us, but all brokers out there like that. But, each bank has, as Greg was saying, each bank has their own personnel in there, and that person is just a person. How long has he been in the business? Does he know the business? Just because he's able to get the job itself and the position doesn't mean he has the knowledge or the know-how or the experience to put you through the best type of experience for your situation.
Good answer. Final question goes to Lee. Timothy emailing us with the following. He says he moved into his home mid-June last year, and he has small kids and was just told by a neighbor that there was a sex offender that lives down the block. What actions can he take, and or what should he have done prior to buying this house?
Okay, that's a good question. There's not much he can do because people have to register as sex offenders, but they also move in and move out all the time. So there could be no one there the day he moves in, and there could be somebody there the next day, or vice versa. So you can't really control that aspect of it. But there is a database of those registered sex offenders. They're from level 1 to level 4. Some are very serious, some are not. And you can look that up as a buyer on the Kentucky State Police website. You can contact the sheriff. You put in the zip code, and just to put Timothy's mind at ease, there are probably registered sex offenders in every zip code in Kentucky. Like I said, some are dangerous, some are not. So now that he's aware,
I was going to say, we've told people, if you look it up, you would either be completely aghast by how many sex offenders are actually registered, or you do absolutely understand what Lee is saying, is that every sexual crime that's offended, you have to register, whether it be something minor that's out of your control to the major one. So there's a big list, and you can see it, and it's there for everyone to look at.
I think the big takeaway is that there is a place you can go online and check before you buy, if that's what's of concern. So at least you're doing your due diligence and you feel better about the neighborhood that you're moving into, right? I think that.
Yes.
Summing up. Good. We are out of time. My thanks to Steve Phillips, who did a great job filling in for Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial. You can reach Randy and Steve at 645-0736. Also, Lee Harris, who is the legal counsel at Limestone Title and Escrow. And you can reach out, and Lee will help you. Very gracious with her time. 649-7964. My son Greg, who does our marketing, photography, and so much more. And by the way, if you are thinking of selling, we have a very free, that's free comes, no obligation booklet that has hundreds of useful tips. It's yours for the asking. If you want a copy, send me an email to bob@wesellouisville.com. Put selling tips in the subject line, and I'll send you a copy via email. And you can reach me in person at my cell phone anytime, 376-5483. Thank you all. We are out of
Thank you.
time. Thank you. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. News Radio 840 WHAS.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Lee, thanks.
All right.
Steve, good.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you next
Take
time.
care.
See y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.